All right. Ooh. All right. Thank you so much. So let's see if we can change this actually. Bear with me. I want to get this set up so that way I'm doing my best to try to look at the camera. Okay, we'll see if this will work. All right, about a minute in so far. So the reason why I wanted to do this video this morning, been wanting to do a video like this for a while. So I guess I'm doing a live stream. So I just want to confess to something. I have been so negative and so pessimistic and so angry and so resentful and so bitter for a long time now. And I've been trying so hard to um, be proactive towards it. And I get a lot of, I deal with depression and I deal with these negative thoughts. I deal with, just these negative thoughts that I will feed and they become my reality basically because I'm so good at attracting things into my life. And so I know that because of the energy that I have towards, everything that's going on right now and the people around me, um, I tend to end up, pushing people away because of my, you know, just my bitterness, basically, the way that I feel most of the time. It's not my fault. I'm not trying to blame anybody else. I need to take responsibility for my own actions and everything. Um, but things happen over time, as a result of experiences that I've had in my life and everything that I've gone through. It's led me to have these belief systems that I operate under. And even though I try really, really hard to reprogram my mind and to not believe that stuff and not to feed those negative thoughts, they come back because what happens is they come back as um, affirmations or um, um, like what is the better word to use? Proof in my life that the way that I'm thinking and feeling is true. And so let me give you an example. I moved up here originally because I wanted to start a family and I wanted to start a farm and I wanted to, I was just tired of being alone and I wanted to try to do something different. I thought that if I moved halfway across the United States, things would change. And so I get up here and it's just been one thing after another. At first I was so excited to make that move and everything that I did, I changed my whole entire life. I was so happy and I was so excited to take this new adventure. And I get up here and everything's great. But like I said, one thing after another happened. And first I got into this car wreck. and which is crazy because I never get into car wrecks. And I was like, wow, this is nuts. Why is this happening? And of course, I go to this existential place of trying to find out the meaning and understanding of how this happened in my life, like the belief of how this happened. Why did this happen to me? The action, the cause and reaction, or um, the karma even. And because I feel like every bad thing in my life that happens is like karmic or some reason, and I can't prove that, but it makes me go to that existential place. And um shortly after the you know car wreck, which was in February of last year, we got basically put on lockdown, whole United States basically. And then everything was good at first, because right at the beginning, it was really scary, and it was like, what the fuck's going on and everything. I didn't think it was really going to last like a week or two or a month maybe or something, but I met someone during the pandemic, and she seemed really great. I really liked her a lot, and I really wish things would have worked out between us. But she had so much negativity in her, way more than I had in me. And she was constantly vibrating all this negativity. And I wasn't used to it. And I'm usually really positive. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in energy. I believe in creating your reality through your thoughts and your words. And I after hanging out with her for some time, I couldn't take it anymore. It was getting under my skin how negative she was. And I know that she, on top of everything that we were going through, this whole planet this past year, she had been through some pretty, awful experiences, and she was very bitter and resentful from those experiences that she had. And I totally understand that. Um, but it it was really weighing on me. And also the fact that she didn't have a whole lot of time for me. She had a job, full-time job, and two girls that she had to take care of, and like four pets. She was really busy. And I I tried to hold it in. I tried to talk to her about it at first, but then I just ended up holding everything in. And then I just exploded one day. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. And I told her I can't talk to her anymore. It was the negativity that was getting to me. And she was saying things that were just really troubling me, like her thought process. Like, you could tell that she had been exposed to a lot of really negative and bad stuff. And and just, I wanted to understand her. I tried really hard, but I couldn't. And so that made me feel like a failure, because I couldn't be with someone like that, which sounds stupid when I really think about it. I'm just tired of being lonely. And I've tried to talk to her since then, and like, it's just really awkward. I feel like a jerk for not being able to have more patience with her. God, I really wish I could have made that work. So, on top of all of that stuff, there's the whole COVID and the Black Lives Matter thing that's going on, and people are tripping, and they're not really feeling like um, the love like you normally are supposed to feel. And so, with all of this scariness going on, then Oregon gets plagued with these wildfires. and the wildfires were so intense here that um, I mean, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And it was really scary how close these fires were getting to where I was living. I never was, um, people really experienced some horrible things through that fire. People lost their homes, everything that they have. They're still trying to rebuild. There's people that still don't have a home and they're like sleeping in their car who are from, these areas that got burned really bad. Um, I was just reading about it recently online. It's tragic. Um, and On top of that, I moved 3 times in 1 year. Moving is supposed to be one of the hardest things for someone to go through and very extremely stressful. And so I had to experience that 3 times in 1 year because I got very scared and I ended up, through all of the craziness, I got scared and ended up buying a piece of property in the country of kind of like central Western Oregon, and I just wanted to get out of the city. I was so scared of fucking all the craziness shit that was going on, and I ended up buying this property basically with my friends. Their mother helped them to finance this property with me, and ever since then we've moved into this property even though we have our own places on the property. I haven't liked it. I'm not happy here. I'm all the way out in the country. It's completely different than what I thought it was going to be like. I wanted to start like some sort of small farm or something like that eventually. And um, I don't know. I think we just didn't do a good job of looking around for the places that we needed to. It's hard for me to live here for a lot of different reasons. It's always raining out here, especially out here in the country. And it's not as, you don't have the comforts in the out here in the country as you do in the city. Whenever it rains, it's not as bad in the city as is out here in the country because it rains more out here in the country. There's more trees, more organic matter, more moisture, and and then to get around, it's hard to get around out here in the country. There's not as many roads. There's no sidewalks. There's no place to go running. There's not like a trail or anything that you can like just easily access, And in the cities, they have all kinds of great trails and sidewalks and stuff like that. I really miss that. I really miss sidewalks. Really miss having, nice running trails and lakes and parks that you can go visit. I used to do that like every single day when I lived in the city. I didn't even think about that, but I did. Whether I was running in a park or riding my bike or going to like hang out by the river or something like that, I was at a park every single day when I lived in the city, just about. Now I don't really ever get to go to parks because I live out in the country and it's hard for me to get to parks around here. I find myself driving into the city to try to take advantage of certain things, but it's far away and it's difficult for me to go in there and do so many activities, that I want to do because there's so much preparation involved. The weather is always constantly changing. It's mostly raining. Most of the time, it's raining, and I'm still learning how to navigate all of that. A lot of times I just have to do stuff in the rain, but it just makes it a lot easier if you're in the city because it's more controlled. There's water everywhere out here on the ground. In the city they make it to where the water that is on the ground gets transferred to somewhere else, so it's easier to walk around, easier to maneuver, easier to drive. um so let's see. I've moved out here and just become extremely lonely and bitter and upset, um, because this wasn't what I expected. And I know it's still the winter and things are going to get better. It's just so rainy and so overcast all the time, and I never see the sun. I get really depressed when I don't see the sun. Makes me a little freaked out when the sun's not out. I'm so used to being in Texas and having the warm sun on my body all the time. And I've never been this white. I mean, my natural skin color is this, but I'm usually a little darker just because I'm out in the sun so much. Oh, my my thoughts, my negative thoughts, and this energy is just it's affecting the people that I'm around too. The little friends that I have here in Oregon, they have noticed this. They've just noticed me being upset all the time, and it's usually comes off or portrayed to them as anger, or I'm just being a dick, you know and it's because I don't really know what else to do. I'm trying really hard. I'm trying to find you know help up here in Oregon. Back in Texas, I had this really great support system, and there was all kinds of people there that were doing the same kind of stuff that I like to do. Like personal development. I was part of the Mankind Project when I was in Austin, and that was really great because I got to, work on myself and help other people work on themselves as well. And I'm all about that, but there's not really a presence of MKP here in Oregon, especially out in the rural parts of Oregon. And it's hard to find resources, like I had in Texas, where I can get you know um, assistance with whatever I am working with at the time. um, yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. Everything that's fucking going on. Everybody's dealing with so much fucking drama and so much bullshit. All my friends in Texas right now are having to deal with all this crazy weather. And I'm watching stuff unfold on Facebook, and they're posting all these pictures and stories about what they're having to deal with. It's hard for everybody right now. I totally understand that. I read this book. Who is it? Dave Chapman, something like that. It's called The Five Love Languages. And after reading that, I came to the understanding that there are these two particular love languages that I speak, or are my love languages, I guess is what it's related to. And it's words of affirmation and physical touch. you know One of the things that I've noticed along my journey is that it really helps to have someone around me to affirm me and to tell me you know positive affirmations about myself, little things like that. Like if I complete a task or I make dinner, it's nice to have someone around to thank you, or to say, this is good, or you did a good job, Christian, or it's hard for me because I have so much self-loathing for myself. It's like it's just hard for me to love and appreciate and to do all that stuff for myself, to tell myself that I did a good job, and to tell myself that, this food is good. Because I just don't love myself very much. I keep having these, you know, things in my life that will come up and will just basically be like, confirmation of, the way that I'm thinking and the way that I'm feeling. And so that just adds on top of each other and creates more misery and more, just problems. I was going over this worksheet. It's called the 15 types of problematic thinking. And I was, reading these and seeing which one of these that I could identify with. I'll just read some of these off that I think that I can identify with. Filtering. You take the negative details and magnify them while filtering out all the positive aspects of a situation. And I can see myself doing that because just the other night, my friends live right next door. We share the same driveway, and so they had asked me if they could put a sign up on the driveway, like a welcome sign. And I did say yes to them. I thought that was a good idea, but what had ended up happening is they made the sign, and there was something I didn't like about the sign, something that stood out. Instead of me seeing all the aspects of the sign, I filtered all that out, and I could only see this negative aspect that just popped out of me, and it amplified, and I made such a big deal about it inside of my head, to the point to where I had to go talk to them and tell them how I felt about the sign. And they just looked at me like I was crazy because, it obviously wasn't about me. It wasn't about like trying to hurt me or make me upset in any way. It was just it was just, you know, them creating something and them not really thinking, too analytically about it. Just creating something because they create something. I feel like a jerk. I caused a lot of drama between us because of, that sign. And I don't know. It just seems like things are getting worse. Here's another one: polarized thinking. Things are black and white, good or bad. You have to be perfect if you're a failure. There's no middle ground. It's all or nothing. So I know that sometimes I've dealt with this black or white kind of thinking. Um, I've, you know, I've had to live my life in the past where I had to think like that. It was black or white or die, basically. And I see some good in that, tell you the truth. But I also see the bad in it as well. So I'm kind of on the fence for that one. Let's look at another one. Let's see. Heaven's reward fallacy. So the lie about that you're going to be rewarded. You expect all your sacrifice and self-denial to pay off, as if someone were keeping score. You feel bitter when the reward doesn't come. I totally agree with that. I totally agree that, because of there's like so much that I have sacrificed, and I feel like I've done a lot. Um, and I feel like one day I'm going to be, rewarded for all this stuff, but I think there's a lot of self-denial in that. There's a lot of me not really understanding things 100%. I'm just making up a story inside of my head and, building upon that, you know. Um, Here's another one: fallacy of fairness. You feel resentful because you think you know what's fair, but other people won't agree with you. I do sometimes. I do totally do that. Let's see. Blaming. You hold others responsible for your pain, or you take the other tack and blame yourself for every problem or reversal without regard to external causes. Yes, blame, 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 blame. That's all I do is blame. I blame myself. I blame others. I blame things outside of my, you know, world. I blame all kinds of stuff because it makes me feel good to blame for some reason. It's weird, right? I blame myself because it makes me feel good to blame myself for some reason. I know when I blame others, it's like I'm blaming them and it takes the attention off of me and it makes me feel like that they're wrong and they're doing bad. And so that makes me feel good about myself, which is totally wrong, right? Totally messed up. um, I had a friend of mine tell me this one time, and I tend to forget this all the time. I wish I could just remember this whenever, I get into these negative thought patterns. But blaming, you should never blame anybody. You should always take the blame for yourself, even if it's not your fault. And that might be a little extreme, but I think that it's pretty true. And I think it's a great way to live your life, to not blame others or not blame anything outside of yourself. Just um, um, take take responsibility. Maybe not blame yourself, but just take responsibility, right? And once you start taking responsibility for yourself and everything about yourself, then you can start moving forward because you don't have anything holding you back. It's not like he said this or she did this or they did this. I can't do this because of this. It's 100% all me. It's on me 100% all the time. So I guess the other part to this worksheet, well, it's like a different worksheet, but this could be like the thing that you do after reading these and identifying them. Questions to help learn how to change distorted thoughts. Once you have identified the thought or image associated with the feeling, you have realized how it is distorted. You can then use these prompts to change your thoughts to become more realistic or healthier. What's the evidence? So these are them. Let me read them to you. What's the evidence for and against this thought? What is the evidence for and against this thought? Think about that. What evidence do we have for this thought? What evidence do we have against this thought? What is the worst that could realistically happen? How bad would that be? So you're kind of playing the tape out and you're thinking, how bad is this really going to be? It helps you to kind of understand that, things aren't really that bad, hopefully. Is it true? Is it really true that I must, should, or have to? Question mark. So I guess this is a question that you might be asking yourself once you have identified with some of the problem thinking. Is it really true? Should or have to? Am I overgeneralizing from a specific event or occurrence? Are there other explanations besides blaming myself? Is there any conceivable way to look at this positively? Is this situation really in my control? What differences will make next week, month, or year? How have similar situations turned out in the past? Is thinking this way helping the situation or self-defeating? How can religious or spiritual beliefs help me with this? Hmm. What evidence would a therapist or mentor give me regarding this situation? And what would I tell a friend in this same situation rather than what I tell myself? What time is it? 9:43. We are 30 minutes deep. Let's see. One person has been in here. Probably not the same person the whole time. Okay, I have 30 minutes. I am going to end this right now because I have to get ready for an appointment and I want to make something to eat and get cleaned up. Um, but I really appreciate everybody watching or listening to this. I would love to hear about some thoughts. I would love to hear anything from anybody about what I said. Thank you very much.